Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy 13 2 walkthrough. Alright, so this video is going to start out with once again reversing the Academia 4XXAF. I actually really wish I would have done this just a little bit differently. In the previous video there, I actually rewound this, or yeah, I guess rewound the gate, or closed the gate, rather. And just kind of went through the events all the way up until like the Sarah's dream version, I guess, of New Bodham. And reason why I had to do that was, as I explained actually in the last video, I just when I went through it the original time, or the first time I should say, I actually told Lightning no when prompted, you know, whether or not Sarah wanted to stay there. So unfortunately, you know, ended up wasting a bunch of time by doing that, and it actually potentially wouldn't have been too bad if if in that last video I had just continued on and then activated the paradox scope in the next area. The thing was, when I went through that though, I wasn't or I didn't know that I could have continued on and then activated the paradox scope basically after the Caius fight. And you know, again, I could have done it then, and that would have been a better way to go about it, and I actually wouldn't have had to kind of go through these events an extra time. So again, I kind of feels bad, man. But it is what it is. And again, I'm, you know, pretty rusty. Just kind of playing the game again, and not, I guess more, it was more that I didn't remember exactly where I needed to activate the paradox scope in order to get those extra fragments. So, you know, again, it's, unfortunately with a lot of these, it's a lot of trial and error, and in this case I feel like it was a bit of an error. So much like my Sarah build this game, again, I actually, you know, I had mentioned this in one of the earlier videos too, and made it quite obvious that I had actually messed up Sarah's stat growth. You know, I wanted to go as much magic as I could possibly get, but of course, you know, one of the times I was leveling up the Saboteur, I messed it up, and you know, thus missed a couple of the magic bonuses. So a little unfortunate. Did it affect my game? Not really. It just made me a little hurt inside. Made me die a little bit on the inside when I rewatched that video and like saw myself do it, and I was like, no, just stop. But it was too late.
Pope told us that he invented a machine called a time capsule. That's how they got here.
Okay, alright, so I think what we're gonna do this time is actually not take the Vagabond artifact, and that's actually going to be I believe a paradox ending here. So you have to be really careful if you're skipping through the conversations with Alyssa, as again, if you skip the wrong one, you'll automatically take the Vagabond artifact and you won't be able to view this paradox ending. Now I think you need to have the paradox scope enabled for this, so do that, you know, turn it on, make sure it's on. But anyway, so here we've interacted with Alyssa actually a couple of times here, and now she's obviously asking for the Graviton course. Again, be careful with skipping these conversations, as you can potentially accidentally skip the last dialogue, which again, you know, just be careful. So here's the paradox scope. Obviously I've just turned it on now. You know, again, a very important thing to do.
Did I tell you? The director is inventing a new device. You've brought us another cluster? Thank you so much. I mean it.
Sarah, did you really do it?
We had collected all the ore clusters Hope needed to levitate his new cocoon. I don't think I'd ever seen Hope look so happy and excited. But this was just the beginning. It would take a century to complete the new cocoon. And if the old cocoon were to fall before it could be finished, well...
I know we can do it.
He's right, you know. Have you seen that broken gate in the town? Well, it's all fixed and working normally.
We collected the ore crystals, so the future has changed, Kupo.
Yes, I think so. And look what I found. It was lying next to the gate.
Alright, here's your live trigger. Again, in order to get this paradox ending, you need to hit no for that. And now we get to watch the cutscenes that follow.
We have to hurry. Are we gonna make it?
Better! Huh? What?
Director,
What's going on?
Don't move!
you're under arrest.
Yeah, give that back!
Did I hear someone call for a hero? I think I did.
No!
Thank you. Give it up, sweetheart. We're on to you. We know everything. Like the fact that this artifact is booby-trapped. We also know that someone gave this to you. Someone like Caius.
So what if he did?
Snow, how did you...
Go!
Hope? Caius is on the move and up to no good. The past and the future are looking pretty bleak. Give me a hand, Sarah.
You can't just drop a bomb like that and take off. You always do what you want, even if it means leaving people behind. You haven't changed at all.
Okay, sorry. Or at least I'm consistent, right?
Snow gave us some valuable information. Alyssa was working with Caius of all people. If we had tried to use the artifact, Noel and I would have fallen right into some kind of trap. Caius was the one that was trying to change the events of the past. Snow's constantly on the move. There are Caiuses in the past, present, and future, and they all have to be stopped.
Not Caius. I think he's serious. He means business. I try to fix the past and he just changes it back to how he wants it again. Like nothing ever happened.
Where's Lightning in all this?
She's on the job with Saz and Dodge.
What can I do?
Stay alive. Listen, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're going to be assassinated exactly 3 days from now.
What?
Me?
Without you, we might as well forget about having any kind of future. Without hope, we're done for. So it's important that you do everything in your power to protect yourself.
Right.
Noel, you're on guard duty.
And what are you gonna do?
I'm going to the future to greet Caius with my fist. But before all the fun happens, I got 13 different eras to visit. There are a bunch of crystals with my name on them.
13 different eras. Not one to sit still, huh?
Sarah, come with me, okay?
Okay.
How come you guys get to do all the fun stuff?
I'll fill you in on what you missed when we get back. So stay safe and stay alive.
Yeah.
There's no stopping you, is there? Go on, then.
We're going there on this!
Come on, you'll love it!
And this is how I set off on an exciting and scary adventure with my hero, Snow. No one can predict how our time-traveling journey will come to an end. But the past, present, and future are all connected. And until time stands still, the future will always bring us a new adventure.
Alright, so that's the Future is Hope fragment, as well as kind of paradox ending, I guess you can call it. But alright, so up to 150 out of 160, not too bad. That Academia fragment here, this last one that it says I'm missing, that's the one for basically fighting every single monster in the game. So again, we won't be getting that anytime soon. So here, this NPC right here actually gave me a quest to kill the Ochu, I believe it is, which I actually haven't taken care of yet. So I kind of wanted to just mention that.
You took care of the monster? Amazing! Now there's nothing to be afraid of.
And then that's Maita. Actually, so she... Now I can't remember if she's the one that gives it.
It's giving us trouble. Can you take care of it?
Oh, no, here we go. Okay, here's the Ochu.
Really? It only comes out when it's raining. Keep an eye on the clouds. Try not to get killed.
I think it was Maita that gave us the quest for the Immortal. Alright, so let's change the weather to, I think it's rainy. If I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, there we go. And we'll head on over to the marshes. That's where the Ochu's hiding out at. And I'm gonna stomp him pretty bad. And so I actually kind of remember the Ochu from the original 13 being somewhat difficult. And there might even be more than one version of it, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while now since I've played that, but in this version, or this in Final Fantasy 13 2, it's kind of a joke. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm completely developed, but I don't know. Anyways, it seems a lot easier. I think the strategy is similar. Basically what happens is the battle is going to start out and it's just the Ochu, and then it's going to summon a bunch of Microchu, and so we'll just have to take all those out. But alright, let's give it a rip here. Seed dispersal. Alright, so this is kind of a good showcase, finally, of my purple chocobo. So this is the one that's got all the auto buffs. So that's auto Tetra Defense, auto Haste, and auto Faith for sure. I think those three were the buffs that I should say the three auto buffs that I stuck on him. Now I'm just gonna give him a little bit of time to buff me up here. This looks like Ravager, Saboteur, Synergist. I don't know if the Saboteur was really necessary in here. I think I could have just gone with, Null as like Commando. Sarah could have done Ravager, and then had the the purple chocobo start out with the Synergist. So that's kind of my thoughts, just because I just don't know how useful that Saboteur really is at the beginning. It wouldn't be so bad if it wouldn't, or if the Ochu didn't summon a bunch of Microchu right away. But since it does, it's kind of silly. But all right, oh man. All right, so he was able to use Seed Dispersal 1. Nope. Oh, I did interrupt it. It looks like. I think that Microchu was still alive. But all right. So anyways, that's the reward. That's the Grestia, it looks like. And then obviously we get the Ochu fragment, which is yet another fragment that we need to pick up. So this is Noel's weapon, chain bonus level 5. I'm going to stick with Romulus and Remus. Again, I really like I really prefer the ATB charge weapons for whatever reason. I mean, well, I guess I've gone over it a couple of times why, but yeah, I like it. So anyways, I think there's a good chance here that my idea was to return to the Historia Crux and actually summon the Ochu one more time. I know I did kind of want to get Sarah's weapon too. Again, now for whatever reason, I guess I just wanted to collect it, and I know my intent was not to use it. So, but that being said, I'm not even. I can't say that there's never a use for it. It's potentially a good weapon, and there could very well be something that I've missed where that weapon would be preferable to the ATB charge, for a certain fight, or maybe it's all of them for all I know. I'm not 100% sure on that. I just, again, I guess personal preference. I prefer to go with those ATB charge, or ATB recharge weapons, I should say. So, anyways, all right, let's return back to the Hunter's camp, and we'll speak with Tapur, which actually I don't know that there's much reason to. We already got the fragment, so he's not going to give us anything interesting.
We're having a hard time with a certain beast. Want to hear more about it?
Oh, and here I go, making myself look like a fool. He gives us the Yomi quest.
I'll be waiting to hear the good news.
Okay, as with all of the Seath on the Archild Steppe, we need to change the weather to, I think it's stormy, if I'm remembering correctly. So we'll do that. And the Yomi, I'm not sure, but it might be the hardest enemy in the game. I'm not 100% sure on that. Like maybe there's a toss-up between it and like the Longui, although I don't know. I feel like the Longui is a lot easier to take down. So, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to take him down anyway. I do know it's an extremely long fight. And also, actually, now that I kind of think about it, I vaguely remember there being a pretty tough and like similar fight. And, oh, it looks like I actually am going to go back and take down the Ochu again. Because, yeah, it looks like I just turned the weather to whatever and then back to raining. So, yeah, it does look like I'm going to head back over there. And, so I see I've got a cut in my video, which means that I saved in front of the Ochu and then killed it until I got Sero's weapon. I'm assuming that's what happened. And then if I didn't... or what probably happened was I fought him a bunch of times, and some, well, I guess in this time particularly, I got insanely lucky and got both of the items. So, kind of, that's kind of crazy. It's pretty rare to get both weapons at the same time. So, congrats me, I guess. Anyways, all right, so let's head back to the Nomad camp, and again, I think we're gonna take down the Yomi. And, yeah, like I was saying earlier, he's actually pretty nasty, so I think he was the toughest enemy for me to fight in the game. But, anyways, alright, so what are you doing here? Okay, yeah, so I was taking a look at maybe trying to make the Arcus Chronica and the In Paradisium. Now, to be honest, I don't really like those weapons anyway, so I'm not really sure why I made them, but I did. The Sagittarius and the Mac Anluin, probably butchering those. Those are the ATB +1, so they give you an extra ATB segment. I don't know that I've ever made those, to be completely honest. So it takes, is that trapezohedrons? I actually don't even know where those come from off the top of my head.
Everyone comes to meet.
I don't think it's Chocobo Racing, and I know it's not the long. Actually, you know what? I think it's the Yomi that drops them. And I know after I killed him the first time, I was like, yep, I don't think I'm gonna farm this guy. So I don't think I've ever actually grabbed those weapons, which is kind of strange for me because normally I like to. Get 100% completion, which, on some level, I think that is included in, 100% completion. But, again, unfortunately, I've just haven't done it. Now, I think that the Yomi fight probably could be made a lot easier. Again, there's probably something that I'm just not doing that I probably should. It's probably something like just poisoning him, and... and again, maybe using different weapons even. So that's kind of what it's my take anyway on the Yomi fight. So we'll see how it actually goes out. I could have swore I got a 5-star rating anyway. So even though it was a pretty grueling fight, I was able to take him down. So anyways, it looks like we're just gonna try to get the weather to stormy here. And yeah, we'll go pick ourselves a fight with a nasty Seath. And gosh, I think I had to restart the fight now that I think about it, because I jumped on a chocobo. So actually, in order to get over there, you have to be on a chocobo. I don't think your character can actually float far enough. So if you notice there's the indicator off in the distance, and that's actually on that ledge. That again, I'm fairly certain you actually need to have a chocobo to get out there. Otherwise, even with anti-grav jump, I don't think you can make it. So we'll have to try to find a chocobo here, which I know there's one down here in this trench. Yes, let's go grab that. Excuse me. Okay. Now the crummy thing about this is I'm not sure if I actually let it kill all my characters or if I just use the restart option. But what actually ends up happening is I think you lose the chocobo. So it's a good idea to actually just save here, and then if something goes wrong with the fight, just reload your game. Again, and I think because what happens is you end up, I don't know if you end up on the ground or if you end up back here, but you won't be on your chocobo anymore. So, you know, that's kind of a pain in the butt. So again, I just say, you know, save out here, and if the Yomi fight doesn't go the way you want it to, just reload your save. Alright, so I actually just cut out a bunch of footage there. It was my first attempt at Yomi, and I restarted for whatever reason. I'm sure just something wasn't going the way I wanted it to, or I didn't. Actually, I think it was probably I didn't have paradigms set up the way I wanted. So let's actually take a look here at what I went with. So we're going to start with whatever this one is. Synergist Saboteur and Synergist, so Superiority. And, okay, so a pretty minor adjustment there, apparently, and what yeah, that's close. It's a close jump there for the anti-grav, but, and this is what I was mentioning earlier, where if, you know, the battle doesn't go the way you want to, you end up back at that ledge and not on the chocobo, so bring enough Gishal Greens, I guess. So, alright, let's get this started. Oh, you know what, I just noticed that it looks like it automatically saved before this fight, so saving on that ledge probably isn't going to do you any good. It looks like it's just going to automatically save when the battle starts, so you're kind of boned. Anyways, alright, so if I'm remembering correctly here, I think one of the more important things to do with this is just actually to keep up a bunch of your buffs. So the Yomi is going to do this impenetrable aura. And I think at that point it's usually a good idea to start chaining. You're not going to be able to actually land, I think, anything. But you can actually start working on getting the chain gauge built back up. Again, I think impenetrable aura makes him immune to all like statuses and stuff. And then he's actually going to start putting buffs on himself. So if you notice right now he's got bravery. So generally a good idea is to, and maybe this is obvious, hit him with a saboteur and just dispel that, get that to come off. And that, I want to say that that's absolutely a must because he's using, or he does some skills, and I think he does Wicked Whirl. And if I'm remembering correctly, Wicked Whirl is probably just absolutely brutal, and you probably have to do at least a double Sentinel. I actually don't have a third Sentinel for my setup here, so I can at least tell you that you don't absolutely have to have Tortoise. Alright, so anyways, again, I would say probably what this battle really comes down to is making sure that he doesn't have buffs and then buffing yourself, as well as actually getting in decent amounts of damage when you can. Obviously, he keeps probably the most annoying thing about the fight. Well, I don't know if it is the most annoying thing, but one of the more annoying things is that he just keeps resetting his chain gauge. So, you know, really the fight is about chipping away at him, and I don't know if poison lands on him or not, but that's potentially a really good thing to drop on him too. So as you can see here, I'm doing a really bad job of getting him debuffed. And that it's possible that I just didn't have a good paradigm set up for that. Probably something like a, Saboteur, maybe Ravager, or even double. Actually, probably a double Saboteur would be even better. And then like, something like a healer, or maybe even Synergist for that last spot for a while. Just again to keep your buffs up as well as try to get them, pulled off of him. So again, we'll see. I think that I could have done this fight a little bit better using some of those things, but I didn't. So my bad. But if you notice here, actually, when he's going into Impenetrable Aura, he's actually able to heal himself too. So again, it's really important to try to keep you got to keep the damage going as well as it's kind of a crazy fight where you just need to do everything. You need to buff yourself, you need to debuff him, you need to keep yourself healed, you need to keep chaining him over and over and over, and you need to keep going at him, constantly, because he's going to be, resetting his chain gauge again constantly. So, so there it is. It's a little frustrating, because you get them all chained up and then Impenetrable Aura. Ugh. Okay. Well. So again, I kind of wish I would have done this a little bit differently, or at least tried some different stuff, because again, now he's got a couple buffs on him. Can't actually see him now because I'm not sure. I don't have him targeted, but anyways, if it's not obvious already, the best times to be buffing yourself is when he's got Impenetrable Aura up, and you really want to be able to hammer him once you've got his chain gauge, or actually, you've got him over that limit. Here's Wicked Whirl. Obviously, hit or get into your your Sentinel and whatever else you've got going there. I don't know if I've got the. It looked like 2 Sentinels and my Synergist for my last spot, which is kind of an interesting choice. I don't know if I really like that. I feel like it probably should have been my my medic instead, but it is what it is. It's what I'm working with. So, odd choice or not, it's what I got. And again, if you notice here, he's still got 3 buffs up. So it looks like he's had it up the whole time. So very, very odd choice for me to not concentrate a little bit more on getting those buffs off of him. I just think that would have reduced damage, and it probably wouldn't have made that Wicked Whirl as brutal. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually counted as magic damage or physical or what the deal is with that. But again, I think I could have done that a little bit better. But so it looks like Putrescence is the ability that's ripping off my buffs, which again is super annoying because he uses it all the time. And it just means you have to rebuff. There's Wicked Whirl again. Yeah, Conservation. It is my Synergist in there. It's very strange. But, alright, anyways. We're getting him, though. Yeah, we're pounding him pretty good, to be honest. I'm a little surprised. I feel like this is going a little bit better than I actually remember. I could have swore that, those Wicked Whirls were doing a bit more damage, but it looks like I'm getting into that that double Sentinel paradigm fast enough, so it's not looking too bad. Alright, so here's Impenetrable again. I'm kind of curious too if he's gonna buff himself with another buff here eventually. I feel like maybe Haste, which would be absolutely brutal, but we'll see. I don't know if he actually does that, because that might be too disgusting. But again, we'll see. Alright, so back into Relentless, and still he's completely buffed. Very strange. I don't know. I guess it's whatever. I ended up beating it, so here's our Whirl, and oof. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that does a lot less damage than I remembered it did, so. But, again, we're getting into that double Sentinel paradigm early, too, so I think that's pretty important. for obviously that big damage reduction. Also, being buffed up helps too. I think taking that kind of damage and not having buffs on is really gonna not feel good. So, all right. Anyways, same stuff here. Just gotta keep on keeping on, as they say, and keep our buffs up, or I should say, rebuff constantly. Oh yeah. So what does he have now? He's got looks like bravery, faith, veil, and is that maybe vigilance or something? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But there's Wicked World. Get into conservation quick. Look at that. That wasn't bad at all. You're a chump. So the other thing is with this guy, again, I really wish I would have tried to do a bit more with saboteurs. I mean, number one, stripping his buffs. I mean, this is just, it's kind of silly that I didn't do that. And then on top of that, just trying to see if poison would land. I think that would have, again, now I don't know if it does. I just, you know, this is, basically I killed him this one time, and then I never went back and tried again. So, I kind of just, I guess, went with this. I don't even know if I want to call this a strategy. This is pretty, boy, as far as strategies go, this is pretty weak. It's just buff up and then heal damage, you know, so not that impressive, to be honest. I kind of got to dog myself when I notice it's you know, pretty bad. But anyways, all right, so we've got him chained again for the billionth time, and I'm gonna nail him with meteor javelin because why not? There we go. You know, he's gonna, yeah, there we go. Actually, that was, I gotta give myself some credit. That was extremely well timed. I javelined him, and then you know, he just went into impenetrable aura, which would have reset his chain gauge anyway. So, you know what? Credit where credit is due, I feel like. Not to toot my own horn, but, you know, every once in a while, I make a good decision. So, but again, the leaving his buffs up the entire time, questionable. Now it'll be funny if now, you know, in hindsight, he, like, for all I know, maybe every time he uses impenetrable aura, he buffs himself. Which, you know, I've been talking mad smack against myself for not getting him debuffed. But it would be funny if you know, if he actually buffed himself up every time he, like, literally every time he went into impenetrable aura, which is it's entirely possible, actually. So I don't know. We'll see. Actually, we won't see. I'll be honest. We're gonna crush him, and I shouldn't say crush him. We're gonna finish him off with the, you know, slow and painful process. And here I look, yeah, I just went for it. I didn't even try to buff myself back up. So, anyways, all right. So it looks like the target time is 15 minutes. That took 10. So yeah, I feel like I probably could have done that a lot better, but we did it. And again, I actually feel like that's the toughest enemy in the game. That Raspidal fight, though, was really tough, too. So maybe technically that one's a little tougher. And, I mean, sorry, so disregarding any DLC, I actually think the DLC, some of those fights are a bit more difficult. So I guess I should have pointed that out. But anyway, so that's the Yomi fragment. I don't know that we've got any other ones. I just don't remember if we've actually taken down the Longui or not. So I guess we will see. Alright, but you know what? We're about out of time here, so as always, hope the guide was helpful. Hope you join me for more videos, and as always, thanks for watching.